Melbourne is looking an absolute picture. We are blessed with a perfect day at the MCG for the 2006 AFL Grand Final between the reigning champs, the Sydney Swans, and the West Coast Eagles. The Swans finished the home and away season in 4th position. The Eagles finished on top. The Swans got the better of the Eagles in the qualifying final, but now they meet again as they did in last year's Grand Finals. I welcome to the commentary position Anthony Hudson calling the action alongside me today. G'day, Hutto.
G'day, Quarters. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a privilege to be here. As you said, the weather, Melbourne has turned it on. The big dance, they call it, Blighty, and everyone's dressed up for it.
They are, and the weather we talked about, I reckon this is one advantage, and you've probably never heard this before, but I reckon kicking against the sun is probably a good start.
Here we go, Bloody. You've got your first one already, mate.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, you think about it.
It
does.
Bloody.
Yeah, but it does. I was just thinking out, looking out there, coming from this other end, the right-hand side of the screen, late in the game, the sun gets in your eyes. Very hard to see.
Before we get into the national anthem, let's get a tip. Robert?
Sydney by 7 points, and Malcolm, they've built grandstands since you last played.
Malcolm, who are you tipping?
I'm tipping the Swans.
Anthony?
Eagles by 20.
And I'm tipping a draw. So, if that's right, we'll be back here next Saturday. As
What about
the Eagles
that?
are already in line.
A draw.
Yep, a
Beauty.
draw. And the Swans also in line as we go down to the AFL's Master of Ceremonies for the national anthem, Craig Willis.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and join our Australian rock icons to sing the Australian national anthem.
So that's the scene at the MCG. The last 10 games between these teams have been split 5-5. The last 4 games have been decided by 4 points, 4 points, 2 points, 1 point, 11 points in aggregate over the last 4 matches. So it is going to be tight.
Just a
Very
bit
tight.
of nerves out there. The Swans not shaking their hands with the umpires. The Eagles did. I think they just broke a little early and forgot. And that's understandable at this stage.
Let's go down to the boundary line as we welcome once again Tim Gossage and Neil Cordy.
Conditions absolutely ideal. Not a lot of footy on the MCG over the last couple of weeks in the ground. Picture perfect. No breeze to speak of. If anything, it wafts to the left of the screen. But it's a nil-all draw when it comes to conditions.
Gosh, I don't know where the Swans fans have been hiding, because all I've seen the last couple of days in Melbourne have been Eagle supporters, but they've certainly come out. The crowd support, I'd say, about 50-50 on the colours that I've seen today. Michael O'Loughlin joins Vic Belcher as the most number of finals played by a Swan today.
Here's the toss of the
Who's
coin.
going to toss today? All right.
Who's call?
Chris, it's your call. Righto, Sue, off you go. Tails is the call, and it's a tail.
So Chris Judd has won the toss and will be kicking towards the city end or right of screen.
Are they into the sun, Blighty?
I think they're squinting, mate.
The benches for the 2 teams making their way.
This has been
Off the
fascinating
ground.
each week. Even though Chris Judd is the captain of the West Coast Eagles, it's Ben Cousins that still addresses them just before. Obviously, Kirk in there for the Swans. Chris Judd and Ben Cousins, the 2 leaders really this afternoon. Wolsey, what are we looking for in the opening minute?
Well, I think in the opening minute, just hardness off the line, because it is just a cauldron down there. The atmosphere is that thick. And I just think the players in at that centre bounce, 4 for each team, get rid of it pretty quick because they'll be coming in off the line ready to bowl you over. This is going to be a physical game. We've got Sydney, the #1 tackling team in the competition, up against the Eagles, who are the #3 tackling team. So these boys hit hard.
Chris Judd. He's the captain, he's the star. There's Paul Roos, the coach of the Sydney Swans. Adam Goodes, the Brownlow medalist for the 2nd time. Ben Cousins, the spiritual leader of West Coast. Dean Cox, the star ruckman.
David Wirrpunda is headed into the forward line, which it wouldn't be a massive surprise.
No, we thought Wirrpunda might go forward. Adam Hunter is starting in the back line. And there we see Wirrpunda coming back into the team. Made his name as a defender, but I think this is a positive move, Malcolm.
Yes, and also Cousins has just come out the middle, and McVeigh's gone with him. So that wasn't unexpected.
And there's Adam Hunter. He's got the job. He'll be starting on... Well, he's on big Barry Hall. That is a surprise.
As McVeigh and Cousins get into it before the opening bounce, we're away in the grand final of 2006. In the ruck, it's going to be Cox against Jolly. And they both miss it. No whistle on play, and we'll have a secondary bounce in the middle.
Well, we've got the first stoppage only about 5 seconds after the game started. Typical Sydney stuff, but this is interesting. Adam Hunter playing in defence on Barry Hall, glass on O'Loughlin.
Beautiful tap by Jolly to Kirk. Sydney go inside 50. In front is O'Loughlin, couldn't take the mark. Back of the Packers, Waters. Snapping at his heels is Schneider. Waters handball to Braun was a little bit dodgy. In there is Schneider again. Glass over the top, and we'll have a bounce 50 out from the Swans goal.
Well, I reckon there's 2 free kicks, half and half, that normally they would pay in a grand final. They haven't paid them. Most umpires seem to pay a soft one early, Rob, just to start it up.
Good duel between the ruckmen. No advantage either way. Do you know that in the opening quarter last year, there was only 2 bounces, 2 field bounces. It was so low scoring.
Adam Goodes in picture, Brownlow medalist. Tyson Stengline doing the tag job on him.
We've already had 2 field bounces in the opening couple of minutes. Buchanan, Malcheski, one of the 4 Swans in for his first grand final. Barry Hall was in pole position, but he couldn't capitalise.
Bit of a surprise, Malcolm. Hunter going on to Hall, and I reckon it's a good bold move.
Yes, I must say, I thought Glass would get him, and Hunter's off the mark. You'd think Barry Hall would be a little bit quicker.
So Jolly gave away the free.
2 hands in the back.
No goal.
2 hands in the back.
Gee, that's that dangerous bit of play that we've seen many goals from the Swans over the last 2 or 3 years in Paul Roos' coaching reign.
Cousins breaking hard to the half-back line, and the pass was okay. So Ben Cousins in the back pocket for the West Coast Eagles. Options already drying up. He's got Glass on short, but nothing beyond that other than Braun, who is really working hard and gets there on the wing. Hansen's leading up. He'll do that all day.
Yes, and that's the man who takes a dozen marks on his chest. Roberts Thompson going with him.
11 marks for Hansen in both the last 2 games, as you touched on there, Rob. To go backwards before they can go forwards through Jones, and Wirrpunda some early trouble. He was prominent in last year's grand final, the opening term.
Gee, stepped over the line deliberately. Umpire Goldspink says throw it back in, but good pressure there by Sydney. This is interesting. Teddy Richards running with Embley.
In it comes. Give that one to Jolly. Back of the Packers, Goodes overruns it. Rowan stripped of the ball. Fletcher quick hands to Judd. First clear possession for Judd as he bangs it in long. Getting back to lend some support as Richards. It's a free kick. It's going Sydney's way to Leo Barry for a high tackle. Just about that position last year, Leo Barry made a name for himself as he switches to the southern stand side, and it's a good kick. Running hard to receive was Malcheski.
It's been good this year, Malcolm, hasn't he? Malcheski coming in, giving that run off half-back.
Yes, he's been a terrific addition.
Stylish player. Hall well up the ground, giving him a target. And it was a good target, as it turns out.
Ryan O'Keefe playing on Brett Jones.
Couple got lost in traffic. Hall was the one who stayed with the footy, O'Keefe.
Yeah, and that's what they'll do. They pass to each other so very well in their forward line. They're patient. They don't rush. They wait. They make space. They block for each other, and they're happy to get just a 25-metre chip pass away.
O'Keefe was nullified in last year's grand final by Casey Green. He'll be keen for a big one this afternoon. Kerr Matthews is his opponent this afternoon. Snyder opens the scoring with a fist.
Well, I must say it's early, and there's that push-off from Hall. I must say the control of the game is now in Sydney's hands as they wanted it, as they need it. The Eagles have got to really break this up. This is actually playing into Sydney's hands.
Waters goes short to Selwood, still deep inside his own defensive 50. To half-back.
One interesting thing about Hunter is that he does run up the ground, Wolsey, and run off and try and get his opponent in trouble, but it'll be interesting to see if he does that with Barry Hall.
He might make Hall work the other way. Usually Hall's opponent just sticks with him, but Hunter will be prepared to run off. Second time Hanson's taken a mark on the lead up on the wing.
He's working hard. Oh, the kick just came off. Oh, it was a lucky break as the Eagles go to half forward. 2 Eagles flew. Slipping over at the crucial moment was Kennelly. But mopping up is O'Keefe. Over to Barry, shanks the kick. Glass can get there. Now can he trap it? He does. He's run down, too slow. Great tackle by Craig Bolton.
Here's O'Keefe. Already 2 touches across half-back. What a wonderful running player he is.
So you've got to be quick in this modern game, particularly in a grand final. And that was the free kick as no one's on the mark. So Craig Bolton's off. Kicks to Hall, one-on-one with Hunter. Hunter kept his feet. To Glass. Now Fletcher. Back to Selwood. Weir Punda, just short. And the bare 15, not 15, says the umpire. Play on. Glass. Handball's over to Waters. And he just pumps it long.
Lynch will come into play here. Actually stays out of it. Chick. And they're inside 50. And again, it is Hanson.
3 marks in front every time. Not a good start for Roberts Thompson. He's the player whose confidence has been down in recent weeks. SOS to Stephen Silvani to get up to Sydney to help him out.
Can't do much now.
Well, I don't know what Sauce said to him, but I'm sure he said the bloke you're playing on, he will work for front position all the time. So you've just got to be with him. Let's have a look at it there. And he just didn't have touch. He wasn't watching his opponent.
Well, all he had to do was stand on his right-hand side and force him to the boundary, Rob, and you're man on man. You're shoulder to shoulder.
15 goals, 15 for the year for Ashley Hanson. Certainly within range. Goals are to be cherished today, and he'll love that
one. Well, that was a wonderful piece of vision here. As we watched this kick go round, we saw them stand side by side. He just had to be on his shoulder. Kicking round the corner, the kick is always going to drop short. And, I mean, that's just a little bit of slack defensive work.
And this is amazing. They've moved Adam Hunter forward already, just 7 minutes into the first quarter. Hunter's gone to the goal square for the West Coast Eagles. Glass has moved on to Barry Hall, and Daniel Chick is now going with O'Loughlin.
Cox the tap, beautifully sharp by Cousins. The Eagles away again. He dishes off to Braun. Braun goes short inside 50, looking for Hunter. Getting the fist on it at the crucial moment was Craig Bolton, but the ball's still alive. Lynch. Now comes to Rowan Jones. Twists, turns, gives it back to Stenglein. Now back to Rowan Jones. Now to Braun as Sydney put up the wall. To Waters, who just throws it on the left boot. It's a high ball inside 50. There's Matthews, can't take the one-hander. Roberts Thompson mops up. Buchanan under pressure. Under real pressure. Off the ground! Judd's got it!
You cannot afford to fumble in grand finals. Buchanan fumbled, couldn't get it the second effort, and the champion pounced. Bonus goal, West Coast Eagles. And we'll have a look at here. Roberts Thompson gets the handball out to Buchanan, can't control it, loses it. Goal.
Rob, I'd like to make something here that I think that John Worsfold's made the best move of the day. When the Eagles kicked their first goal, Hunter's gone forward. He said, this time we are going to take the momentum away from the Swans. This is the move.
Yep,
let's be positive.
Being proactive.
Yep.
Last year in the grand final, he moved Hunter forward at half-time. Gee, it's an early one today.
And another move. Wirapunda, who started up forward, is now playing in his normal half-back, back pocket position.
So great start for the West Coast Eagles. Kirk had a wonderful year and finished off very strongly. O'Loughlin, as we know, in career best touch. Chick's a pretty wily campaigner as well, though. Good support. Terrific support from Weapunda. And now Chick with a scrappy old one. Gets him to half-back. Buchanan keen to make amends. Bolton with his first real chance to make an impact. Was hoping for Hall. Glass was losing his footing all the way, but remained composed. It's all about control now on the last line. Weapunda, wrong footed was Cox. But he is a terrific big man. He's got plenty of tricks. Out wide for Braun. Swans have always been able to restrict Michael Braun.
Hutto, you called Dean Cox. Twice he handled the ball in the defensive 50. That's good for the West Coast Eagles because it shows he's getting back there to help out against O'Loughlin and Hall.
Yeah, the other thing, Rob, though, Jolly was only 5 metres away and just let him go.
Eagles dominating possession early in the grand final of 06. Quick kick out of the pack was by O'Keefe. Gains 20 metres for his team.
I reckon this is the biggest message I've seen in one of these games, with Hunter going so far forward early. You're right, Stephen, it's a huge statement.
Cox against Jolly. Kirk at the front against Judd. And another stalemate.
Well, to me, Malcolm, I reckon John Worsfold has been proactive. And I reckon it's good to see that. We can see Nick Davis in picture. Buchanan's been taken off by Paul Roos. Couple of costly fumbles. So Nick Davis, the half-forward goal-kicking specialist, is on. The Chick on O'Loughlin move is a beauty too, because Chick will be able to go with O'Loughlin on the lead.
And Worsfold continuing to put one man away from the stoppages, as we see Fosdyke not able to take it clear. Every time we see the stoppages, Rob, they're just pulling one man back off the stoppage into defence.
Yeah, and getting about 10 metres in front of Barry Hall. Now, this is what we've been looking for all year.
I was going to mention that you might be happy with that.
Swing him around.
Again, fortune favouring the Eagles.
Yeah, but Woolsey will cover that up. Roosey will cover that up, Robert. So they've got to keep changing it.
They've got to keep doing it. But let's see what the Swans can do now from the wing. Kirk. Couple of options. Jolly. Oh, few nerves just jangling out there at the moment early. Fletcher and Stengline. All the runners with the Eagles. This is Brett Jones into the 50. Here comes Lynch. It wasn't well placed for him. On the next line, Hunter across to Cousins. He's been running all year and he's finishing strongly.
Well, what a fly, what a start, and goals to stars in Judd, Cousins, and we'll have a look at that costly fumble by Jolly out on the wing, and just backs his pace as Ben Cousins to hook that one around his body. Last 2 goals, the result of fumbles by Sydney.
Well, Jolly pays the penalty for an uncharacteristic fumble. The Swans aren't on early. The Eagles are. They only kicked 2 goals in the first half of last year's grand final. They've already got 3. They're off to a flyer. Cox out of the ruck. Kicks it back inside 50. Getting back to chop it off is Ted Richards.
Just got to get a bit of the ball, Sydney. They've only had 19 disposals. West Coast have had 50. Sydney with just the 19. What West Coast have had is 25 handballs, which is the way that they play good football.
Adam Goods, nicely done, over to Fosdyke, who starred in last year's grand final. Looks for Hall.
That was Goods' first touch too, Malcolm.
Yeah, I must say, I was surprised that Fosdyke did start on the bench. I mean, his form's been really good. He's one of those blokes that gets out in the wings and gets a lot of touches. Was a surprise.
Doyle now against Cox. Doyle got the tap. Quick kick by Fosdyke. Hall in front. Big Elm. Free kick, Sydney.
No, it looked like you had his arm back and you're holding his arm back. No, it looked like you had your hold of his arm. Just to my advice, it looked like it, okay?
I bet he didn't change the decision. It's an absolute waste of breath. Darren Glass, save your energy.
Well, Barry Hall, their leading goal kicker with 78. You'd put this down as a certainty, but we've seen Sydney Swans early in this game fumble uncharacteristically, put the ball out of bounds as they've gone forward to lead, so they need this to settle.
Barry Hall's kicked 11 goals in his 2 finals. He's got 78-36 for the season, converting at 68%. Shouldn't miss from here. And he does. The Swans have got the jitters early.
Well, that is a costly miss because the confidence of the team, they're not used to the big man missing from that close in from a set shot. worrying signs early for Sydney.
Unfamiliar for the Swans, but also for the Eagles, who we know have been the kings of comebacks this year. Let's see how they are as front runners. Banfield, creative handball to Braun. They are flowing nicely at the moment, the Eagles. Jones has been pretty good early, Brett Jones. At half forward, going hard his namesake, Rowan. And now Armstrong. So the depth of the Eagles, the so-called big players, are doing nicely so far. Fosdyke's been busy as he was in the grand final last year.
Yeah, pivotal moments in the match. That miss from Barry Hall. Just if any Swans players starting to doubt their form and you see you skipping this one like that, you start to worry a bit.
Kerr hasn't had a sniff just yet. Matthews is hoping to be his master for the afternoon. And we'll have a bounce.
And there we see Craig Bolton with the job on Adam Hunter, the jack-in-the-box Hunter.
50 out from the Eagles' goal. Fisted forward by Kirk. Dempster got it to Davis. Buchanan's back on. Sweeps the handball to O'Keefe. And the Swans are away. Chips it into space. Working hard as Davis. Didn't get the kindness of bounces. Yes, he did in the end. It held up for him nicely. He kicks over to O'Loughlin. It looks like he's labouring a bit. Bowled over by Chick. And the umpire's given O'Loughlin a free kick.
Well, he got the free kick, but the pass wasn't all that good. But at least they had a positive move off half-back. And you can see the pass missed O'Loughlin by a good couple of metres, but he wins the free kick, and there's Chick with a hand in the back. I don't think there's any argument against that. And again, you can see John Worsfold's reaction. He's got off to a terrific start. He doesn't want this Sydney team to get a goal.
The other thing too with O'Loughlin's goal kicking last year's grand final, it was very poor. He's made comment, he's sick of hearing about it. He's angry about it when someone mentions it.
So don't mention it, Melbourne.
No, well, right now, he's got a chance to actually shut everyone up.
Well, it's not the easiest of shots.
It is a difficult one. He'll be kicking from about 49 metres out. Drop punt on its way. It's close. It didn't make the distance. And the Eagles are away as Banfield bangs it on the boot. Now, can O'Keefe get there? No, he can't. Good kick from Banfield. It came off a treat. And the Eagles out of danger. They lead by 16.
Having said that now, it was a great kick. He's in good form. He has been in a lot better form, kicking form. Certainly during this final series, Michael O'Loughlin just didn't quite make it.
Margin 16 then.
Again, an extra player in the Eagles' defence, Hutto.
It was Doyle doing the ruck work that time. Cox doing the roving. Dempster couldn't get it. Guess who could? He's unstoppable when he's going, Chris Judd. Hanson again, the path into attack. Cousins run down, but just got enough on it. Jones and Kennelly. Look at Bo Waters. Clean pickup. That's the difference at the moment. Misses the target, but the Eagles have it over the Swans at this very early stage.
Strength of Chris Judd in close. The strength and the pace, change of direction. We're looking at a champion.
Craig Bolton to do the kicking in. All Australian this season. Goes in the goods direction. O'Keefe's also there. Fletcher up. Brought it down. Kerr. Kick sideways. It's clean bowl about 4 of them. Now Kennelly. Hasn't got much on offer. He's got Roberts Thompson in the back pocket. He ignores him and goes over to Matthews. He's got O'Keefe loose at half-back, and he can mark and go. Ryan O'Keefe for the Sydney Swans. He's got O'Loughlin on the lead, and O'Loughlin's got it, and he's within range.
Just got to hang in, Sydney. Not much has gone right for them. They just need to hang in, and they desperately need to get one through the big sticks. Been going almost 18 minutes first quarter.
8 goals in the 2 finals this time round for Nick O'Loughlin. He's got 44 for the season.
And he's probably 5 metres closer than last time. If he's in kicking Nick, we'll soon find out.
44-31 to be precise. It's a left to righter, and the Swans have got their first on the board.
Well done, the goal.
He shut us up now.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the perfect answer, isn't it?
Yep.
As I said, the first kick wasn't that bad. It just didn't quite make it. So, yeah, no, he's been in pretty good nick. Ryan O'Keefe, isn't he a beauty? Just run. Gee, they needed that, the Swans.
The great Ronald Dale Barassi.
Have a look at that, Hutto. David Wirrapunda without an opponent, getting back, so it's a 3-on-2. We haven't seen the Eagles do that all year. Good to see John Worsfold change his approach against a team that likes to control things their way. Sydney love to have just 2 or 3 forwards. They're being outnumbered up there at the moment.
Cox got it down. McVeigh trying to make the great escape out of the middle. Going nowhere. So the Eagles preparing to make their first significant ruck change with Seaby, who only had 26 minutes of game time last week, coming on just to give Cox a couple of minutes on the bench. Very soon, you would think. Stenglein, Butler, Fletcher, who started well, Selwood, into a pretty crowded Eagles pack. Hard to get a free run. Lynch decided to stay down and had to try and do the work on the ground. He threw it.
Gee, big pack of players, Malcolm, when the ball goes into the Eagles forward line.
Well, young Selwood then really just blazed away. He really had a lot more time and just didn't sense his clearness.
Richards to Adler. And again, Buchanan working hard at half forward. So the Swans, depending on how high scoring this game, there's not a lot of damage done on the scoreboard at this stage. Hall trying to work off Glass. Glass tried to play from in front. Braun getting back to lend a hand. Good tough work from Glass. Selwood getting good early touches. Braun, Fosdyke. Yeah, it's going to be relentless all day in the clinches. There'll be plenty of this and plenty of that.
All over his back. Rode him into the ground, Luke. Mark's in.
And another one of this dangerous Eagles midfield, Andrew Embley.
The Eagles had more handballs than kicks. They'd be happy with that because it means that they're freeing up.
It's been the story of their revival late in the year too, Rob, the handballs, hasn't it?
Well, they handball more than any other club, but in the last 6 weeks they've averaged 180 handballs a game, which is massive.
And they're apt to make a blue occasionally, but what it does, if guys run, you give it to them. Wow.
Well, that was Quinton Lynch's first chance to take a mark and get an easy one. Fletcher passing, and the big man spills the beans.
Throw in on centre wing. Judd's there, beautifully controlled. Over to Chick, heavy Shefford off the ball, allows him to kick to half forward. Rowan Jones is there, so's Lynch. For the ball, Kennelly. Quick to regain his composure, but he's against one of the best runners in the competition, and he beats him hands down, Ben Cousins, as Kennelly chips to the wing. Ablett dropped the sitter. Chance to make amends. He's gained tackle, and it could be a free kick. Umpire Goldsmith gives him the benefit of the doubt. What a great one-on-one contest between Kennelly and Cousins.
Oh, that was a test of wills, wasn't it? Neither going to give up. Goes to ground. Cousins, you're out of the contest. Kennelly takes the honours.
Goods contests this
Pushed
one.
him out, Andrew Embley.
And it's a free kick going West Coast way to be taken by Andrew Embley.
So Embley for the Eagles. Just the 2 possessions so far. He's another option for them up forward later on. He's kicked almost 30 goals for the year. Armstrong forced to play the role of the defender. So the Swans just getting the logistics a little better now, Malcolm.
Yeah, look, bar one fumble in the goal square. I know there's been a couple, but when that happened out on a wing, I mean, it's still a pretty tight game.
Jolly might get a free.
Yes, and Jolly, the reason we saw Goods go for that ruck contest on the wing was because Seaby, his opponent, was playing deep forward for the Eagles, so Jolly had to go with him. He's only now been able to get into the contest to do a bit of ruck work.
Now, this is where they've got to tidy this up. Can't let this Swans player loose. This is where they cause all their run from.
And it's Kennelly. Ball in good hands. Wirrapunda getting back to stand in front of O'Loughlin.
This is looking good, Malcolm. They've got the extra numbers back, filling the hole, filling the spaces in front of O'Loughlin and Hall. Let's not forget, last time they met, Sydney kicked 13 goals, and it was O'Loughlin and Hall who kicked 9.
Thanks, Ben.
Butler to Kerr, who's just starting to get the feel of the footy now. Barry Hall up on the wing. Everyone confused. Back to Kennelly. Been prominent in the last couple of minutes. Another good sign for the Swans. Again, it's a fairly slow and patient build-up, but we've become accustomed to that. Snyder.
Starting to hit some targets, Sydney.
Lots of numbers inside the forward 50.
This is where they'll be keen to get a short pass to a player on the lead. Here they go.
And it's Buchanan outsized that time, though, by Stenglein.
And that's a victory to the West Coast because they're aware Sydney will go for that, but they're just alert, they're thinking, they're filling the spaces.
Matthews doing a wonderful job on Daniel Kerr. He's just had the 2 touches so far. Throw it in Sydney's forward 50. As Buchanan stood up in the tackle. Fletcher couldn't grab it. Judd did, but he's immediately tackled by Buchanan.
Darren Gold speak, he can't help himself, can he?
Having a chat to Darren Jellick, I think it was. Down she goes. Seaby the tap. Jude Bolton caught high.
Just there, thanks, Jen.
And they're not disputing that one, the West Coast Eagles. Have a look at a replay. No doubt about that. As Jude Bolton will line up, kicking from about 47 metres out, as good as directly in front. He's kicked 12 goals, 5 this season. Conversion rate of 71%. Just a point for his troubles.
And while that set shot was on, O'Loughlin came off.
And now it's Brett Jones as the Eagles try and get moving. Seaby having to work very hard. Kerr with him in tow to try and help out. Again, it's Embley. And now Waters. And now Seaby, and they're going backwards.
All with handball, Anthony.
Jones for Cousins. It's dangerous. He's outsized. Oh, Doyle did a great job initially. Cousins was having none of it, and he wins the free kick. It's a West Coast ball. It's 50 now, surely. Barry Hall not happy. But that was the way Darren Goldsby pointed.
Well, you mentioned Doyle there, Hutto. He came on when O'Loughlin went off, and Sydney have got the rare situation of having their 2 ruckmen on the ground. There's the big fella there.
What was the free kick for?
Well, holding the ball. The question has got to be.
I thought he was really stiff. I thought it was a Sydney Swans free kick. Would be my call on it. I thought they're very stiff there.
So Cousins too far out to score. Just sets it up. Here's Leach. He was strong, just couldn't quite get enough on it. Kirk on the ricochet. Jones. Outlandish attempt really for goal.
It was interesting, Hutto. Cousins just popped it up, didn't he, for the big pack mark, and there we see Lynch going for it. That first grab, couldn't control it.
He got a fair bit of it, didn't he?
He did.
Goods waste no time, but his kick's chopped off by Seaby. He brought it to ground. Selwood looked to kick it to the hot spot. Hansen's there. Third man up, back of the pack. Armstrong picks up. Right foot snap. Not going to make the distance, and it's knocked over the line.
Just watching Adam Hunter there go for 2 balls, high balls. He's actually gone early. His timing's out.
And
we know him.
Doyle, Malcolm, up in the goal square on Beau Waters. You can see the massive size advantage if Sydney can get a fast break.
Well, this is where we talked about Jamie Graham playing or not playing. Got 1 extra tool.
Fosdyke releases to Goods, and he shorts it to Hall at half-back, who sweeps the handball.
So Doyle will make his move from the middle, but they've got to get it down there. Malcheski wrapped up beautifully by Brett Jones.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the things with height on a player, it's the only advantage he's got probably over the other guy is height.
So
he's going to be quicker, he's going to be dart, and out of 10 qualities, there's only one he's in front on.
So they've got to kick it well to Doyle when they go forward.
Correct.
But the coaches are showing their hand, aren't they? They're really working some moves over. Fletcher got the clearance. Brett Jones must be exhausted because O'Keefe is running him everywhere, but doing a good job. Embley, again Malcheski, the little shrug of the shoulders. And more positive vibes coming out of the Swans players now. Bolton, free kick or mark. Is it 50? 50, hanging on to him.
Bolton's going to get a shot at goal here.
I thought that was just play on.
I thought it was pretty tough.
Yeah.
Fletcher and Bolton are running together.
He paid the march.
Yep. He held on with the jumper, not going to do that. That was about round 3 they gave those frees. They stopped giving them. But Bolton is running with Fletcher. He hasn't got a lot of the ball. I picked him for the Norm Smith medal, but he's not going to do that today as a run-with player.
Jude Bolton and the Swans can really take a lot of joy out of this opening quarter. If he can kick truly, missed one early, and he's missed another. It's been a very unswan-like performance in this opening term. Grand Final Day 2006. Beautiful conditions at the MCG. The Eagles lead it by 10.
Well, the Eagles have had 40 more disposals in this first quarter.
Long kick to the wing. Kerr's been quiet. Matthews wearing him like a glove, but he gets a stat here as Daniel Kerr's off.
Played.
Quick give to Judd. He'll kick into space to Hunter. Bounces off his chest. It was a difficult one to take. Free kick. Advantage played. Fletcher into the pocket. Hansen's all by himself. And he will have a shot at goal, only 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Well, you'd say every chance he'll kick it, because we see Jude Bolton miss a couple of set shots, goes down the other end of the ground, and it could be a 2-goal turnaround. O'Loughlin back on, Doyle off. So Ashley Hansen, he's played in 39 games for the West Coast Eagles. They've won 33 of them. So the strike rate is pretty damn good. He's already kicked one. And he makes no mistake. The Eagles out to a 16-point lead.
And it's a huge goal late in the quarter too. This wonderful play from Kerr. Dwelt with the ball and eventually got the handball off.
Good to see him back himself to run, carry, bounce. And it becomes about a 65, 70-metre play by the time he gives it to Judd, who in turn puts the pass to half forward. So the confidence is up.
So Paul Roos, normally unflappable. This is going to be a big test of his coaching prowess today.
Paul Roos has put Adam Goods to full forward.
Well, he could be the target that they need up there. They've got to get it down there. Kerr just starting to look better.
Have the ball.
That'll help.
Okay, let it go now, Adam. Hand it over, thanks. Mark's there.
Selwood goes for him across half-back. And he's got Embley as his lead-up man. Kennelly in pursuit. But the Eagles controlling things nicely. Lead by 16. Would love another in the last 25 seconds of the opening turn. Roberts-Thompson with his work cut out today. Leo Barry. Back to Roberts-Thompson. Ablett. Adam Goods. Now got Jones on him. Free kick, advantage. Swans.
Rush kick, it was a rush kick.
He did well, Adam Goods.
Just a rush kick, so no
just
advantage.
so desperate to get in front. But what we're seeing in this first quarter, it's the most disposals against Sydney for any game this year. And you've got to say that it's gone West Coast Eagles' way as far as plenty of possessions, plenty of run, plenty of handball. But they are not dominating on the scoreboard, just 16 points up, even though so many other things have gone well for them.
Well, the lack of the advantage call has probably robbed the Swans of the chance to score again before quarter time. So as it is, it will be the Eagles plus 16.
Yeah, and thoroughly deserved. A couple of shots from Jude Bolton we saw miss. Eagles have been positive. John Worsfold, I think, has been the most positive coaching day, and that's easy sitting here, but it does look as though he wants to take it away from the Swans and dictate the terms.
So far, so good for the West Coast Eagles. At quarter time in the grand final of 2006, the Eagles lead the Swans by 16 points. Quarter time in the grand final of 2006 at the MCG. It's the Sydney Swans defending their championship against the West Coast Eagles. As we look at the extreme super slow-mo camera, and it's all good news for the Eagles at quarter time. They've been dominating this match and they lead by 16 points, 4-2-26 to 1-4-10. Hansen is the only multiple goal scorer in the match so far. Brett Jones, 8 touches for West Coast, leads the way, while Ty Kennelly is the leading possession getter for the Sydney Swans with 6. And it really was, gentlemen, a game of mistakes for the Sydney Swans. The Eagles just dominating possession, but perhaps they didn't quite nail it on the scoreboard.
No, they didn't, Quarters, but it's been the Swans' mistakes that have really hurt them. We see a fumble by Buchanan there for a Judd goal, and it's really been their clangers that have really hurt them. As I said, the Eagles have made the most of those opportunities.
They've kicked 1-3 from set shots inside 50.
And, well, you've got to nail them, and you go to the other end of the ground. West Coast have been able to put their goals through their set shots, and that's really hurting the Swans.
Handball happy the last two finals, West Coast, Luke, and it's the same again today.
Oh, it's a very courageous move from John Worsfold on the West Coast. You have a look at this. They're just saying, we're going to take you on all occasions. We're going to handball. That's a risky thing to do in a grand final because the pressure's on, and there's no better pressure team than the Sydney Swans. And at the moment, you have a look at the handball stats there.
I just can't believe these stats. They're amazing. The
Absolutely dominating possession. 50 handballs to 21. Most sides, Sos, try and work on a kick-to-handball ratio of 2 kicks to 1 handball. They're going at 1 kick to 1 handball at the moment, dominating possession and dominated the quarter.
They have, and look, I think the concern for West Coast, though, they've had 6 scoring shots. The Swans have had 5, and yet they're only 16 points up. The domination in the stats there is a little worry.
We're ready for the second quarter action as I go back to my co-commentator, Anthony Hudson.
Thank you, Stephen. So, second quarter of the 2006 Grand Final. What a sight. The MCG is really looking a picture today. And the West Coast Eagles have handled it beautifully. Jolly, though, even though he's a little shorter, got the timing right on the jump. Kerr just starting to come into it in the second half of the opening term. They always look for Judd, but so do the opposition because they know the ball's coming there. More handballs, but this time into a bit of trouble, and O'Keefe was able to withstand it all, and O'Loughlin, who's looking pretty potent up forward. Oh, Snyder, a fumble. That was a little more tricky. Kept on going. They have to control it.
Whistle. Downfield, throw back there.
Just while we're looking at this bit of play here, you just see that Adam Hunter is now back in the back line. I wonder if John Worsfold will do it again if they get a goal and they move him forward again.
Might do it at about the 7 or 8 minute mark, Malcolm, as happened in the first quarter. Wirrapunda has gone into the forward pocket for the Eagles.
This is Waters as he goes to Brett Jones, who's had a very, very good first quarter. Up to 9 disposals now. Kicks towards Chick. Strong grab from Daniel Chick.
Chris Judd has a new opponent. Judd's opponent, Luke Ablett.
Kicks to Embley, who had the sun in the eyes. Couldn't mark. Selwood. Now Bolton. Jude. Over to Kirk to Buchanan. Got to be quick. Here he is. Back to Jude Bolton, who sidesteps Judd. Not a lot on offer long, so he goes the short option to Hall, and it was a good one. Hall looking to get it moving. He's going to take on Glass here. Oh, now what's happened?
Now, here's the mark here.
But Barry Hall played on. Barry Hall played on. And you can't zigzag, and then point at the man on the mark.
Just take your kick and go there.
I don't think you call play on. And it's not until the umpire calls play on that you can actually move off the mark.
But he should have called play on, shouldn't he, by then? Look at that, he's off.
He had a couple of chances. Now, whether he did or did, well, he should have, Malcolm, you're right, but it was definitely play on. And takes us back to that game over at Subiaco when Barry Hall kicked the goal from a very similar position on the ground.
So Hall from about 55 out. Kicks into the goal square. From the side was O'Keefe. And Hunter decides safety first and concedes the rush behind.
We're Punda for Glass. Again, just a couple of anxious moments. Another standoff with Barry Hall. Good running from behind, though, by Chick. And here we go by hand again. The Eagles off halfback. Fletcher, Chick forced to kick this time. The old helicopter. Hunter's pretty good at getting underneath them. Richards, reckless abandonment. Now, here's Embley. It's all open for him. Goods going hard. Embley going hard enough. Hard enough to kick the goal.
It's a West Coast Eagles free in this marking contest. Hunter pushed out of the way and it falls to the advantage of Embley. He's sharp enough and smart enough to say, I'll play on. Umpire says, let's go. Advantage called, and he nails it. And Embley needed that because he'd struggled to get into the game.
Well, it's a handy buffer now for West Coast. Early in the second term. 21 points the difference.
Yes, and there's Ablett on his new opponent, Chris Judd. And now Wirrapunda, who started the quarter in the forward line, is now in the back line in front of Barry Hall.
God, Cox brilliantly to Kerr. Gets it out to Cousins, who lost the handle on it. Gets it back. Well played, Cousins, to Selwood. Selwood short, not 15. Stengline over to Braun. Braun will load up from about 60. Into the hot spot again. Free kick Sydney's way for a hole. It's going to Craig Bolton.
Once again, Hunter's gone to the forward line and just kicked the goal. So that looks like that might be a set move.
Yeah,
the other thing is, looks as though Richards might be on Hanson. Roberts-Thompson had trouble with him in that first quarter leading up.
Just exciting, I reckon, Malcolm, that John Worsfold's prepared to roll the dice in this big game, and so far coming off well for him.
Enticed into playing on because there's no one on the mark. So Bolton goes for a bit of a cruise on a Saturday afternoon. Stengline got the call from Wirrapunda.
Wirrapunda, well done. He's playing 10 metres in front of Barry Hall. Now, that's a dangerous spot to be, but he stood firm. Well done.
Barry Hall doesn't like that. Not too many forwards do.
He might make him pay for taking up that space, Hutto.
Next time round, you reckon?
I think he'll have it at the back of his mind, but this is good because Wirrapunda linking up nicely.
And across half back. And out wide for Embley. Now Cox working really hard on the wing. Makes it tough as a big bloke trying to follow him. Had 27 possessions last week. Linking up again with Embley. Selwood. So casually, they really look like they're in command at the moment. Cox's left foot is potent. Hunter's got him. He got away, and there was nothing Bolton could do.
16-3 handballs in this second quarter. They are going handball crazy. There's David Wirrapunda just getting that 10 metres in front of Barry Hall. And we're going back a minute or two. Well done, little fella. Brave, courageous football, and he helped set this forward thrust up.
Not finished off the way they would have liked.
Well, Rob, is it time now for the Swans to play some tempo footy and just hold on to it for a little while?
It may well be, Quarters. Just deny the Eagles the ball, because as soon as they get it, the Eagles, they are red hot.
Harry kicks to O'Keefe. It goes straight down the throat of Braun.
This bloke's been all right too. He's been missing the last couple, hasn't he? This very important player.
Braun has got 8 disposals into the forward pocket for West Coast. Craig Bolton got to be good here. The handball missed the target, but Sydney had the extra number. Kennelly run down quickly over to Ablett, who just throws it onto the boot. Here's a chance for Embley. Breaks the tackle. A left foot snap from Embley is offline. They are peppering the goals at the moment, the Eagles, and they are dominating possession. 139 disposals to 71.
Adam Goods has only had 3 possessions so far, Blighty, and Stengline, I think, is playing on him at the moment after he'd had some time on Judd, but they've got to get him into the game, don't they?
Well, they've got to start controlling the ball. I guess that's the trick, isn't it? Unless he can go and get it himself in tight.
Barry punches a bit of a hole, and they do get Goods involved. This is Matthews. Good movement of the footy by the Swans. Again, though, just a little bit off their best, and in the end, Hall had the job ahead of him. Schneider. He's got a man loose. That was well played. Great vision. And Fosdyke, as you said, he had a couple of options, and in the end, it's Ben Matthews he chooses.
And just good play by Barry Hall under pressure to keep the ball alive, to knock it to advantage. And you see the big fella here. Well done. And you're right, Malcolm. Roberts-Thompson on the interchange bench, and Ted Richards with the job on Hanson.
Well, Ben Matthews, not a big goal kicker, only 4 goals for the year, but he has kicked 3 straight from set shots this year. And from there, you'd have to say he's a good chance of putting one through, and it's only the Swans' second, so that is vital.
Well, obviously a very important goal for Sydney, but one of the things we know about this Sydney team, you don't win premierships and get to a second grand final by laying down when you're headed at any stage, and they'll show some fight, and I'd expect this fight will continue for a long time yet.
Ben Matthews, who's got the job on Kerr, has kicked his 5th goal for the season. And it's back to 17 points the difference.
And Dempster's come on. He's with Embley. Embley back there in the goal square. Richards onto Hanson. Roberts-Thompson on the bench.
Cox trying to get it over to Judd, who gets it now. Just forces it forward to Cousins, who swoops. The champ goes for goal, but he misses. And in the end, it's out on the full.
How was Judd then trying to extricate that ball from underneath? He just wanted it more than anybody else. It's amazing.
Snyder working hard at both ends of the ground at the moment. In the back pocket, Hall is up on the wing, but they're going to go across and try and get the switch through Barry.
Yeah, keep a little bit of possession.
And Bolton now, Davis working for him on the wing, and O'Keefe further afield, but
everything's Eagles' way. Now, this is what Sydney will do. They'll control the tempo.
And now the switch could be on to Kennelly. Barry's got perhaps another Barry in mind in Hall, but forced to go shorter than he would have liked initially. Here's Kennelly then, trying to crank it up, trying to get that forward movement and motion.
Sydney free. Courage.
Dempster plays an almost exclusive defensive role. We know that Beau Waters, he thrives on the contact, not afraid to throw his body around. He pushes the boundaries sometimes.
The amazing thing, Hutto, is that whilst West Coast have dominated control of the ball disposals, they are only 17 points in front. A couple of quick goals to Sydney, and, well, all of their good work could be undone.
Dempster didn't kick a goal in his career until this year. He has 5 for the season. Still has 5 for the season, and it's Sydney 2-6. So their accuracy also being a little bit costly as well. 5-4 for the Eagles.
Why would you give the ruckman the ball to kick in?
Well, they don't kick it to any tall anymore, do they, Robert? So you always kick it at the smalls. He may as well do it.
Stengline, handball accepted by Ablett, who got it over to Kirk. Now to the run of the Brownlow medalist Goods. He looks for Hall. Well done by Glass to spoil. Oh, beautifully spun out by McVeigh. Back to Goods from 49. He shanked the kick. And we'll have a throw in.
He did shank it, didn't he? But positive signs from the Brownlow medalist.
Great little spin.
A throw in the Swans forward pocket. Cox against Jolly. Give it to Cox. Here's Davis. Forced to get rid of it. So is Brett Jones. Kirk. Now Goods. Looks again for Hall, but Embley gets back to lend some support and takes a good mark.
Just a gridlock in there for the Swans forwards at the moment, but they are looking better, even though it's the Eagles through Chick and now Hunter, who are moving forward for Kerr. Look at him glide through the middle, so composed. He's got a great football brain. It was perfect for Lynch. Absolutely sensational play by the Eagles, and it deserves a goal. And Big Q gets the first chance to throw the glove off.
Well, the big fella set himself up, but when you've got a player who runs and carries, this is an 80-metre play by Daniel Kerr. And when you've got a defender running back like Leo Barry, he's in all sorts of trouble. And the Big Q, this is his big moment, Hutto.
1 goal 4 last week. Don't want to put any pressure on him, Rob. But the mitten is off, and he's got the feel of the footy. You can see exactly what he's confronted. There's plenty of Eagles scarves behind the goals. They'll be up as one if he gets it all right here. And there they go.
It was an amazing game. You'd thought Adam Goods from 40 metres out on the run with a bit of space would actually kick a score. Didn't even score. And within seconds, Kerr's carried it nearly the length of the ground and set up Lynch for a goal. Got to take your chances in this game.
As Paul Roos ponders, Quinton Lynch kicks his 10th goal for the final series and the 63rd for the season as Cousins has a break.
And we've got Adam Goods in for the first time at a centre bounce.
Cox has dominated in the ruck so far. Judd. Now Fletcher. Over to Cox, who's got great athleticism. Oh, run down Buchanan on Selwood, and he's been pinned for holding the ball. got to come back over his mark. It was a fierce tackle.
And I reckon Goods being in at that centre bounce, we saw him get 3 quick touches in the last 4 or 5 minutes. Paul Roos deciding, well, put his star where the action is, give him every chance to get into the game, because he could be the team lifter for them.
Oh, John Worsfold. Just very noisy.
Buchanan inside 50.
Don't see that very often.
Huge pack of players around the ball. Fletcher fed it out to Judd. Eagles out of trouble. Little short one to Hunter. He's bowled over by Craig Bolton, who won the ball back for Sydney. Well done. But he's put it out of bounds on the full. Free kick to West Coast, right on defensive 50. Good second effort from Hunter.
So Hunter forced to really just find someone to work. Oh, now did Braun take the mark? Play on was the call. Might be out of bounds here.
Dropped it, mate. You dropped it and hit the ground. It fell out of your hands and it hit the ground.
He doesn't miss a thing, Darren Goldsbig. He's a beauty, Malcolm.
Yeah.
Sound very convincing there as it comes back to Ablett. Plenty of Eagles in the middle of it. Now Bolton having his chance, and Cox and Selwood. And you could just see them all going forward in a wave. Fletcher. His left foot might just find Lynch again. He's got one. He might get two.
Too strong. But again, a very open Eagles forward line as they cross the midfield. It's a little bit like we've seen Sydney.
Well, they're beating them at their own game, Wolsey, in a way, aren't they?
They've got the run and the handball. Good to see players prepared to bounce and carry. And if they can get the ball one-on-one, Leo Barry is that much smaller than Quinton Lynch. Well, this will happen.
Been a big couple of minutes for Quinton Lynch. The Eagles are rolling at the G.
Yes, well, the open forward line. And no one coming at him. Was always going to make it easier for him to control the kick. And Lynch running back again. It was almost duplicate of the last one. The ball fell short. And Lynch, most dangerous position to a defender to be in. Took it easy.
The big Q has booted 2. And the Swans trail now by 28. 7-4 plays 2-6.
Stephen Dorr ran over the line before you bounced it. Free kick to...
And everything going right for West Coast. Has Cox in the middle. Goes out wide to Stenglein, who's had plenty of it. This is number 11.
That's the skills of Dean Cox, Stephen. He's unbelievable, isn't he? Big fella.
Used to barefoot water ski as a teenager.
It's really helped him a lot out here.
Be an awesome sight, wouldn't it, a bloke that tall? Barefoot water skiing. Up in Dampier, his hometown, which is about 1,600 k's north of Perth. The Eagles back into attack. Lynch in front. Spills to Hunter, to Judd, stripped of the football, picked up by Kirk. To Buchanan, who broke through the tackle. Not a lot on offer, though. Kicks to the wing, and Chick takes the sliding mark.
I like Daniel Chick playing on O'Loughlin. He's just got the pace to make it hard for the Swan full forward. Again, Eagles having extra numbers back.
So they'll have to do it with small steps. Butler made it awfully tough for Stenglein. Able to ride the bump and keep it moving with Braun to full forward. Hunter stuck behind. Anyone left standing. Lynch going for a trifecta. Can't get it. No free kick. Ablett. Handsome, vigorous stuff. Kennelly.
Open forward line for Sydney.
That's because there's all hands on deck. Hall made the mistake with the kick, but it all turns out all right. O'Keefe and now Snyder. But the Eagles are pushing numbers back, so it's going to be hard to find a man. Nick Davis could be the man who could change things. He sneaks to within range, sets it up for O'Loughlin. Had him done. He had him done. Chip was wrong-footed. And now O'Loughlin, even he shouldn't miss from here, Mel.
Great play, Nick Davis. Cut back on the left boot, set it up on the top of the goal square. He's got the advantage in height, O'Loughlin over Chick. Now there we see Adam Goods bumping when he should have tackled, should have wrapped up his opponent.
Oh.
He did it hard.
Oh, don't tell me.
He's celebrating, so it is a goal from where I was.
I'm not entirely sure.
All clear.
Wow.
Come in. Been given a goal, I reckon. All clear. Overriding umpire, the non-controlling umpire. Right, so what I think happened here was that neither the goal umpire or the closest field umpire knew for sure.
The umpire Allen overruled.
Yep.
And I reckon O'Loughlin might have hurt himself.
Very similar to one down the other end, but the Nick Davis mark I thought was as good as anything. 2-on-1 virtually. If he had dropped it, it was all over. Here's the kick. Let's have a look.
Yep.
Yeah, it looked okay, didn't it? Oh, got in by.
Good call.
Got in by 1 centimetre. Plenty.
O'Loughlin and Chick off the ball, gentlemen.
Yes, and he won't take a backward step, Daniel Chick. Sydney have got Roberts Thompson down in the goal square at full forwards. Started this quarter on the interchange bench.
He got a cheek one in beautifully there, Darren Glass.
Oh, it's on behind play. Hauling Glass into it.
Play continuing though in the middle. And it comes to Cousins. You watch the fight quarters as it goes out to the wing. Jones. And it's over. Let's get back to the pocket.
2-on-1 now.
The only thing that could happen here is Barry Hall will get a shot at goal. The Eagles will get the ball in the middle of the ground. I reckon Glass is actually silly to go on with it.
Kennelly sending them forward, using Fosdyke. Roberts Thompson's down there. And he's either given away the free or he's got the mark. Didn't give away the free. Malcheski, bit of chaos at the moment at the MCG. A time for cool heads and composure, something the Eagles have had in spades so far today. Rowan Jones taken away by Buchanan. The game's gone up a notch. Not a great kick though. Selwood with the relief for the Eagles, and he's got a host of options out on the wing, so the Eagles can go on the counter again through Embley.
And unfortunately, Lewis Roberts Thompson is having a nightmare at the moment on the MCG as the Eagles go inside 50. Beautiful kick, marked by Armstrong.
Well, Roberts Thompson came on, went to full forward about 3 minutes ago, and is it in the back against Embley? Umpire said no, and he just drops a sitter. And again, swings to the other end of the ground, and he's got the horrors, young man.
Stephen Armstrong, what a great story it is for this young 22-year-old. Shoots at goal, just misses. Hurt in the Bali bombing back in 2002. Came off the rookie list this year for West Coast. Finds himself in the grand final.
Did he used to water ski?
Not sure about that one, Hutto. I'll go back to my stats.
7-5 West Coast, 3-6 Sydney. And it's Bolton in the back pocket.
Gee, not much movement for him.
I mean, the only thing you know as we watch this build up here is that Paul Roos won't panic. He never panics in the coach's box.
He might be panicking now. He's got good reason to.
No, I'm still saying. I know that's just, well, that's footy. And Kennelly hasn't done that too many times in his life. And really, was that holding the ball? And the answer is no.
He put the ball to ground
and hit it away.
Now, I think
but he slipped when he hit the ground. It wasn't a free kick.
No, we need to have a look at it again. And we will. But not before Ben Cousins makes them pay.
Yeah, so notwithstanding that, he slips, the ball goes to ground before Cousins touches him and he knocks it away. Oh, how's that a free kick? I don't know. However, he still won't panic, Paul Roos.
What do you reckon, Quarters? Do you reckon it was a free kick?
Nope. No. He released it, didn't he? Fell over, top on the ground and knocked it out.
No. Yeah.
Was this a free kick, Malcolm Blight?
Have a look. I mean, he falls over, the ball goes to ground, then Cousin gets him and he whacks it off the ground. It's not a free kick. It never is.
David Wirrapunda again, spare man in defence, standing 10 metres in front of Hall. We haven't seen that all year.
Cox again dominating beautifully to Judd.
Drop the ball.
Oh. Drop the ball he's paid against Chris Judd.
Free kick going the Swans way to Buchanan.
She's a strong Eagles presence in the crowd.
Got the ball smacked out of his hands.
Got it knocked out of his hands, yeah.
And the umpire's behind him, so he guessed.
Eamon Buchanan.
A couple of great decisions there. I mean, the umpires are really good. I mean, and that's not going to change the game because it's 1-1, but I hate guessing.
Out wide to McVeigh, who flew, couldn't take the mark. Dempster head over the ball. Handball went straight to Lynch. Deep in defence. Kicked a couple of goals this quarter. Out wide to Kerr. Leo Barry will get there first, but he overrun it. Swooping is Kerr. Backed himself with the bounce. Shrugged the Barry tackle, and Daniel Kerr is off. To Judd. Great linkage. Chris Judd puts the foot on the gas. Tries to outrun Goods unsuccessfully.
Yeah. Good pressure by Adam Goods. You can see what the Eagles are up to. Run and carry and handball, take risks, but worn down in the end by the pressure of Adam Goods. But you've got to be excited by the way the Eagles are playing.
Out to a 29-point lead. The Swans haven't played as bad in this quarter as they did in the first, but the Eagles have been the ones to be able to convert. And they've often done it on the counter-attack.
Well, David Wirrapunda loose in defence for the Eagles. Canelli's the loose player for Sydney up the other end. And Wirrapunda coming from behind.
Now move over.
So Ben Cousins comes in for his 10th possession. Hasn't found it easy against the Swans this year to get as many possessions as he normally does, Ben Cousins. Uses Banfield, of course, the premiership player from '94 for West Coast. And now Selwood. Hanson trying to provide a target. He's gone a long way. Up to full forward. Hunter out of position in terms of being able to take the mark. And Kirk amongst a whole batch of Swans back there. Bolton, the outlet man this time, is Nick Davis. And he wanted to get it going. Now Roberts Thompson, can he take a mark this time? There's a boost.
Pretty important few minutes here. Just the Swans in possession of the ball. They really need a shot at goal here. They need to work their way through all this.
Good lockdown by the Eagles then. In the middle of all that was Darren Jolly, but over the top was Beau Waters.
And he set himself for that. Just watched him come in, and confidence up. They've had 13 running bounces in this second quarter, the Eagles.
Kick wasn't good though from Waters. Kirk runs down Fletcher.
Daniel Kerr and Barry Hall, a little altercation off the ball. And you can see Eagles players coming in to get around Big Bad Barry.
Cox, tap was sharked by Goods, who had the kick smothered by Cousins. Here's Hunter, fed it out to Judd. Now McVeigh, quickly on the boot into the pockets. And the mark's been taken by Davis.
Oh, it's just got to be a
break.
goal, doesn't it? A couple of ricochets there, smothers and so on. It could have gone anywhere. And even the kick that Davis marked, it was a wobbly old off-the-side punt by McVeigh. Had no real control over it. A bit of luck that Davis marked, but he's got to make it count.
Well, they set up their last goal with O'Loughlin, and if he can nail this, that's two important touches in the second half of the second term.
Must kick goal for the Swans, and Davis has threaded it right through the middle. Lots happening off the ball, most of it involving Barry Hall.
There's the good smother.
Yep,
and
the lucky break
back
coming
inside.
up.
Judd just got it going forward. It's just that quick kick, it's amazing, isn't it? You get a bit of luck in footy. But the luck, there was no luck about the kick. Absolutely perfect.
He's the centre of attention, Barry Hall, but his little mate up forward, Nick Davis, kicks the crucial goal.
Yeah, well, Big Barry's just had 2 touches this quarter. Darren Glass doing a fine job.
Adam Goods playing in the middle on Judd as we see the big man Doyle in the middle. Look at him go at ground level. Jones underneath it. Everyone committed. O'Keefe, Doyle. Didn't quite get the coordination right. Jones, Braun, Kirk. Out of my way, says Brett Kirk. And O'Keefe. And again, the Swans No, free kick.
You got him one arm. You got him one arm. You go like that.
And it goes to Braun. Embley led into the pocket, but Lynch was a closer option.
Well, distance won't worry the big man.
Tell you what, see how he got up then? That actually hurt him as we watch this free kick. And one of the things you think when someone takes a mark or gets knocked to the ground, you think, oh, he'll go back and kick this. But sometimes you're actually out of breath or hurting. I'd say that Lynch, the way he got up then, that he's actually hurt himself. So you've got to concentrate on the kick, not what's hurting him.
Gloves off, though, Malcolm.
Gloves off, crowd like that. The brow is furrowed here as he comes in. He's so determined to see if he can nail. And that is a very long kick, just centimetres away from what would have been a glorious result for the West Coast Eagles.
Well, Roberts-Thompson got a hand on it, but he looks dangerous when they get it one out. So much bigger than Leo Barry. And a couple of the Swans players didn't want to kick that ball in. They just jogged away and said, no, we'll leave it to young Malcheski to do the honours.
Huddling in the middle, Rob. You like the huddle, Rob?
I like the huddle, Malcolm.
Okay.
You invented it, didn't you, Rob?
I liked the huddle until someone came up with the idea of outriders, which was Lee Matthews, and then we were gone.
Roberts-Thompson to the wing. Good mark taken by Butler. Plays on. Now Embley to Fletcher.
Roberts-Thompson moved on to Lynch. Leo Barry on Hunter.
Yep, Craig Bolton took himself off about 3 or 4 minutes ago. As Hunter marks just outside, attacking 50, chips into the pocket. Cousins, can he get there? Hemmed in by McVeigh. Back to Hunter. Squeezes the kick and the rush behind.
Having trouble getting the ball away after the kick-ins quarters, Sydney.
It'll be 25 points at half-time in favour of the West Coast Eagles, 8-7-55 to 4-6-30. And the Eagles have had 76 more disposals than the Sydney Swans.
Yes, it is remarkable, isn't it? But a 4-goal, it's a hard-earned 4-goal break. You'd have to say the Swans have had some chances. They missed some goals early in that first quarter. But the Eagles really consolidated their position in this game and lead by almost 4 goals. It's well earned.
2006 AFL Grand Final. At half-time, it's the West Coast Eagles leading the Sydney Swans by 25 points.